Welcome to the Get Empowered podcast. This week, we are talking all about how to not get stuck in the personal development loop or cycle. This may sound weird coming from someone who has what I would consider a personal development or self-help podcast, but I am someone that has been down the personal development rabbit hole for years, and I think it's really important to not get stuck there. So let's chat about it and let's dive in. Welcome to the Get Empowered podcast. My name is Erika Vichcales, and I am a mindset mentor, personal development junkie, holistic health advocate, and lover of all things spiritual. At the Get Empowered podcast, I'm here to help you overcome limitations, step into your power, and create your dream life. I've spent the last several years healing my mind, body, and soul, and have learned so much along the way. From healing trauma to navigating a sober lifestyle and learning how to step into my personal power, it has been transformational. If you're looking to heal, to be inspired, to uplevel your life, and to become the most empowered version of yourself, you've come to the right place. I created this podcast to help you know you are worthy of rewriting your story, to help you navigate your own empowerment journey. You are worthy of living your most authentic, aligned, and inspired life, and I can help you get there. Whether you are diving deep into personal development or just need a weekly pick-me-up, I've got you covered. Thank you so much for pressing play today. I cannot wait to transform together. Let's get empowered. Welcome to another episode of the Get Empowered podcast. I hope you've had an amazing week so far. I hope you've been enjoying our Mindset Monday episodes. And this week, we're going to talk all about personal development and how to not get stuck in the rabbit hole that personal development can be. But first, what is something I'm grateful for this week? I'm looking outside my window and I'm seeing so much sunshine. I'm really grateful for the sunshine, guys, especially during the winter. I'm really grateful living in Arizona. We get sunshine year round. That is one of my favorite parts of living out here, is just the amount of days a year that we get sun. Even though it can be really hot, even though I miss having trees and grass, though you have it in northern Arizona, I will say, but where I am in Phoenix, not so much. It's a lot of dirt, a lot of cacti, but that's okay. I'm really, really grateful for the sun. The sun does so much for me. It has so many amazing benefits, and I'm just so thankful for it. So that's what I'm grateful for today. And what am I currently loving? So I was doing my nails the other day. I am someone that I do my own nails and I take forever. So it is like a whole fucking process. And with that, I realized that, you know what, let's throw on some Netflix. And Kyle and I watched a movie and he fell asleep on the couch, which is typically what happens. And once he fell asleep on the couch, I was like, oh, what else is on here? And I found a show that I have not watched since probably high school. And it looks like they have some more recent episodes, and that is Project Runway. Do we have any other Project Runway fans out there? I have always loved Project Runway. I used to watch it with my mom in high school and middle school or whatever time period it was, and I loved it. It's kind of weird not having Heidi Klum on there and not all the original judges. Carly Kloss is now the host and one of the judges, and then Nina Garcia is still on there, but I do like the new judges. And there's some updates, but I love it. It was so much fun to watch. I stayed up way too late because I just was like, holy shit, one of my favorite shows is back. I love like friendly competition shows. Not all competition shows, but I really used to love Project Runway. I don't talk about it often, but I used to really love fashion. Like, I loved it. Devil Wears Prada is one of my favorite fucking movies. And so it was just really fun to watch. And it like was very nostalgic for me. And that's something I want to do more of in this year, is really just like embrace the things I actually enjoy. So embracing my love for fashion, embracing my love for beauty, embracing my love for Nicholas Sparks books and movies, like things like that, just really owning myself and my interests and my likes. So it was really fun. It was like very nostalgic for me, a little bit of a throwback, and I just fucking loved it. So if you have not checked out the newer seasons, I forget what season it is. I think it's season 17 that I'm watching of Project Runway on Netflix. I do think Hulu has it. I just like haven't watched it on Hulu, so sorry. But I love it. And it's so funny too, though. Like when I was watching it back in the day, I remember like what the styles used to be, what the fashion used to be. And I keep seeing on TikTok that they think in 2024, the 2016 era is going to make a comeback. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of shit happened in 2016, but let me tell you, what a time to be alive when it came to hair and makeup and music and outfits. Like, I'm just so nostalgic for that time. So I'm like, bring it back. Bring it back. I would fucking love that. So, anywho, I really enjoyed watching the show. It's one that I used to love and watch all the time. And yeah, it just was a lot of fun. So, check it out if you are not, if you're looking for a new show, check out Project Runway. It might be like a fun fit for you. So, this week we're talking about personal development. And I love personal development. I have never hid that fact. And if it were not for personal development, there is not a fucking chance in hell that I would have a podcast because, to be honest, like, diving into personal development is what helped me to get out of my shell more, get out of my comfort zone, explore new things. And I really have like the network marketing profession and therapy. Those two things are really what put the fire under my butt to go down the personal development rabbit hole. That being said, and especially with it being the beginning of the year, I just wanted to talk about like how important it is to remember to come up for air. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I don't know about you, but I am someone that I love to learn new things, and that's great. That being said, though, I have found myself being someone that like I will learn and learn and learn and join the new course and read the new book and listen to the new podcast, but then never fucking implement it. And I actually talked about this, I think, in one of my end of the year episodes where I realized, like, okay, 2023, I felt like I didn't, quote, get much done, which actually, when I did reflect, I was like, that's total bullshit. But I think part of that, why I felt that way, is because I am someone that for years I was always learning something and doing something. And I realized that like in 2023 was really the year of implementing a lot of what I've learned. And because I was implementing, I was actually taking action and like letting the lessons and the things that I was learning like soak into my being and into my life and actually take effect. And you need to have that time. You need to make the time to have like these steps you're taking and like these things you're learning actually apply them to your life, because if you're just constantly learning and never applying, it ain't gonna do shit. I hate to break it to you, but it will do nothing. Okay, so I also think that it's really important to remember that you are not broken. Okay, even if there's areas of your life that you would like to improve upon, that doesn't mean you're someone that needs to be fixed, that is broken, that isn't good enough. I always like struggle with this a little bit because I want to share with you what helps me and what works for me, but I don't want you to think that something is wrong with you. One, if you don't do life the way I do it, but two, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind, I haven't done this, or I haven't done this, or because I want to make these big changes in your life, something's wrong with me. No, it is very okay to realize like I want to pivot in a certain area or I want to make a change in a certain area in my life, but that does not mean that something is inherently wrong with what you're doing currently. I mean, again, if you want to make a change, that's great. But I think you can honor and respect the person you have been and realize maybe just me wanting to shift, that's okay. I want to just transform. But I just want you to remember that you're not broken and that you are good enough and you are worthy. You are worthy of having the life that you desire. You are worthy of creating that life that you desire. You are very much, I know that I am someone that struggles with not feeling good enough. And that that thought process of not feeling good enough kept me in unhealthy relationships. It kept me in unhealthy habits. So I think that the personal development world can really help you because it can help you realize like, oh, I am worthy. I am good enough. I deserve more. But I don't want you to get so deep into it that you forget that you are a whole person and you are good enough no matter where you are in your journey. I think I talked about this where I look at last year as kind of like the middle of my book, right? I turned 30, like, so midlife now or whatever. And it's okay to not be fully there yet. Okay? You like need all these chapters in your life of like growth and transformation and learning, and you are probably not going to be who you were 5 years ago today, just like who you are today is probably not who you will be in 10 years from now. And that is okay. That doesn't mean anything is wrong with the current chapter you are in. And I think it's really important to remember that and to remember that, okay, I love learning all these new things, but like I need to take time to let them like take effect into my life, right? So I can learn all about meditation all day fucking long, but if I don't take the time to fucking meditate, who gives a shit about the knowledge I have of meditation? I need to fucking meditate to have it take effect. Just like manifestation. I have learned so many things about manifestation. And I'll be honest with you, even the person that I did Manifestation Babe Academy from, I love her. And she's released new programs. And I've had people be like, oh, are you going to do this program or that program? And I'm like, no, I'm not. One, I don't want to fucking pay for it. Two, I have learned so much about manifestation, and I am sure there's more I can learn. But you know what? I really need to take time and be intentional about implementing the tools I have and the resources I have. And if I haven't fully implemented them, which I have not, I've implemented a lot of things, I've made a lot of changes, but I know what works for me. Like I've shared before, I know that my intention setting with the lunar cycles and doing that whole fucking process really works for me. It is a very powerful manifestation tool. So why would I go learn something else, some new shiny object over there, instead of using the tool that I have right in front of me that I know helps me? That doesn't make sense. And I don't want you to get stuck in the trap, especially with the new year, of, oh my gosh, like there's this new shiny object. I need to go learn this new thing, this new technique, and it will fix my life and change my life. Because if you keep taking the courses and listening to the podcasts and listening to the books that tell you all the things you need to change about yourself, but you don't actually take the action to make the changes you want to make, you're never going to fucking change. Because part of manifestation, like let's use manifestation as an example, it's not just thinking about the things that you want your life to look like. You need to take this action steps needed to create that change, right? Like I've talked about this a lot. You know, last week I had an episode about routines, and I don't want you to think that you need to constantly be focusing on bettering yourself, because I think it's really powerful and important. Like I'm someone that has a growth mindset. I think the growth mindset's very important, but that does not mean that something is inherently wrong with you. And if you're happy with where you are in your stage of life, that is okay. Okay? So I just really want you to remember that you're whole and you do not constantly need fixing, okay? And you're not broken. Okay, you're like, it's so funny. Kyle is obsessed with Hondas. You've probably heard him talk about it. And he jokes about all the projects he has. Well, I'm going to put him on blast for a hot fucking second. He has a lot of Hondas. And you know what? He has so many projects. He does not have time to work on them all. He just does not. And he's making his way through them all. He's working on them. Like, I'm not shitting on him. Like, it's his hobby. It's his passion. I'm so happy that he has a hobby and has a passion that he loves. Okay. But if he were like, when he constantly adds to his collection, it just takes away time from him working on the ones he already has. So I think that's a very practical and hands on example for if you are constantly looking to the next new thing, then it's going to probably halt your progress from actually happening. So just like in the gym, like if this is something that will probably piss people off in a way, but you know what? You do not need the new shiny new fucking thing, okay? Because you know what fucking works? Eating healthy food, eating the caloric amount that is correct for your body size, the body size you want to be, and your fitness level and your activity level. Okay, that's just fucking facts. Calories in, calories out to an extent is fucking life. Now, I know with women, there's hormones you need to be considered. If you have a medical condition, you need to consider that. I know there are bigger things, but at the end of the day, it's so funny when you see people trying like all these new exercises when honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that it's not cool to try out a new fitness class or a new exercise program or like this new cool workout move you saw on TikTok or fucking Instagram. But you know what works? Squatting, bench pressing, deadlift. Let's see. There's so many like those big compound movements. What else is there? Like hang cleans, power cleans, like those basic fucking lifts, bicep curls, tricep dips, like ab exercises. There are so many, and you do not need to reinvent the wheel. Now, of course, when it comes to fitness specifically, yes, you need to change the amount you're doing. You need to have a progressive overload, but the base fucking concept is the same. Like it was funny. I went to my fitness class the other day And they were like, have you done hip thrusters? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I've done hip thrusters. But there were a ton of people in the class that have never done hip thrusters with a barbell. And I was like, what? That to me is a staple fucking movement. Deadlift, back squat, bench press, hip thrusters, basic fucking movement. Okay. And those basics are like the building blocks. So I really see like personal development. And in my mind, I'm just thinking books for whatever reason, but that's probably just because that's how I got a lot of my content was personal development books. But I think nowadays there's so many courses. There's courses on everything. There are so many fucking courses. And to be honest, I'm someone that for a long time thought that I wanted to build a course. And maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I will. But right now, I feel like there's information overload. There is information overload, and maybe I will someday be inspired to create a course about a specific topic in my specific niche that I haven't really seen people do before. Maybe I will, or I'll put my spin on it, and it will serve the people it's meant to serve. But I really think it's important to not get stuck in the trap of constantly chasing the goal that you want without actually taking the action to make it happen. Like the knowledge is going to probably be pretty fucking similar at all these different courses. Like when I didn't take that new manifestation course from my teacher that I've learned from, that doesn't mean that I don't believe in what she does. I'm sure like she's creating a new course or a new program in an ethical way and that she's had new revelations. I'm sure she has, but the stuff I've learned from her works for me. So why would I reinvent the wheel if what I have is fucking working? That doesn't make sense. And you just don't need to continue to be on this like rabbit hole of constantly like throwing money and time into these new things. Like just go back to the fucking basics, okay? And remember, like the biggest thing from this, I just want to remind you is it takes time to implement change. Like change takes time, right? So my like fitness program is pretty fucking basic. And if I completely changed it up all the fucking time, I would probably never see results if I was constantly changing like, oh, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do spin and then I'm going to do bar and then I'm going to do Pilates and then I'm going to do weightlifting. And don't get me wrong, I love a variety of things. But for example, I think one reason I'm seeing results is because I've been doing consistent progressive overload with my weights. Like lifting weights, progressive overload, I'm finally seeing changes that I've been wanting to see. Right? And I think it's really important because I'm taking the time to let those changes like marinate. Kind of like when you put a seasoning or a sauce on a piece of meat. You got to let that shit marinate to be able to experience the flavor fully, right? Like, and the longer it marinates, the better, typically, right? Or I don't drink, obviously, but isn't like aged wine a thing? Like, the older the wine, in theory, the better it is, or more special, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just really want to make sure that you guys do not get into the trap of feeling like you have to constantly improve yourself because there's a good fucking chance that you are fine right now where you are. And again, that doesn't mean you don't recognize the changes that you may need to make in your life. Like you can have two things. Like it is not a black and white scenario. Like the world is gray. You can recognize that, hey, I'm really doing well in this area, in this area, in this area. But hey, over here, I would like to tweak it a little bit. So then you get the knowledge you need to tweak that area, but then you need to take the time to actually apply what you learned. And I feel like that's what I'm getting at is so many people learn all these new things without taking the time to fucking apply it. So then they never see results. So then they never go do the next thing. And I am someone that has done this. I am someone that especially like it came up all the time in network marketing. I would learn and learn and learn, but not do the fucking thing. And if you aren't going to take the action, you will not see the result. Okay, so just be mindful, especially this time of year. Be mindful because so many people have all the things that they want to promote and they want to sell. And like, I'm not shitting on anyone. I think there are so many good teachers out there and coaches out there, and there's great content for you. But I just want you to be mindful and intentional with the content that you consume. And you don't want to get stuck in that rabbit hole. And even like with my work and my podcast, I have people that have listened consistently and then they're like, oh, I really haven't listened in a while. That's okay. If it's not what you need right now, put it down, pick it back up when you need it. This is like an evergreen resource for you. You can listen whenever the fuck you want. You can listen multiple times. You can wait weeks. It doesn't really fucking matter. I mean, of course, like I'm always trying to grow my community, but the goal is for this to help you. that is the goal. And if that is the goal, then I personally need to be mindful of that and know that like it may only serve people in certain parts of their life and at certain times, and that is okay. I mean, I have plenty of podcasts that I've been obsessed with that I just stopped listening to for a bit because honestly, I just didn't feel like it. Like the Skinny Confidential, I do love that podcast, but I have not consistently listened to it in a long time. And I don't really know why. I think I just like binged it and I listened to so many. And then I was like, you know what? I found something new and interesting that I'm going to listen to instead. And I still listen to episodes here and there. And honestly, like there's been a couple that look intriguing to me. So I'm going to probably download them and listen to them this week. But I just want to keep that in your mind, guys. Remember that you are enough as you are, no matter where you are on your journey. That is really fucking important to remember. And it can be really hard, especially if you're working through trauma, if you're working through mental health issues, whatever the case may be. Like I'm someone that I never feel good enough, and I have to be very intentional and remind myself that I am enough no matter where I am on my journey. If I'm in chapter 1 of my book or chapter 25 of my book, it doesn't matter. I am enough with who I am today. Okay, so let us see what the chakra cards have in store for us this week. Okay, this week we pulled the psychic development card, which is associated with the third eye chakra and an amethyst crystal. I love my amethyst crystal. I will literally put this bad boy right on my third eye, which is on your forehead, in the middle of the forehead, when I meditate, when I'm laying on my acupressure mat. But I fucking love this card. And we've gotten it a couple times lately. Like this is not the first time in recent weeks that we have pulled this card. And this is your sign and your reminder that it is a powerful time to develop your psychic abilities. Okay. And everyone has them. Often it's referred to as a sixth sense. And there are 4 different main ways that you can connect to your psychic abilities. And that is going to be vision, hearing, knowing, and feeling. And I really get it through knowing and feeling. Okay, those are often called the clairs, and you can dive deeper into that. Look up Marianne DeMarco. She's a medium. I'm obsessed with her work. But these senses are like muscles. So the more that you work with them, the stronger they will be. And everyone has psychic abilities. I really believe that. Whether it's super strong or just like a small part of your life, that's okay. But as you grow in your abilities, you will receive as you grow in your abilities, you will receive an abundance of wisdom and love and guidance from the universe. Okay. So, and it is meant to be shared with others and enjoyed. Like, this is a happy, exciting thing, knowing that I have these abilities that I can use to not only help and grow myself, but help others too. Okay. So, pulling this card could also mean that you have been working on your psychic abilities and that you are encouraged to keep going. And as the answers that you are looking for are going to come through your connection to the higher self. So, really, in my opinion, this is about digging into your intuition, digging into your highest version of yourself on a higher vibrational plane, and knowing that the universe has your back and your ancestors have your back, your guides have your back. And this is a very powerful time for development and learning. And there's a lot of different ways that you can focus on deepening this. I really recommend time and meditation. I recommend listening to podcasts or books or maybe even a course about it. Again, I love Marianne DeMarco's work. I also love Jordan Younger's work. And the affirmation for this card is I am deeply connected to my intuition and reclaim my psychic gift now. How powerful is that? I'm going to say that one more time. I am deeply connected to my intuition and reclaim my psychic gifts now. I love that. And I know that's something like I actually haven't talked too much on the podcast about, but I really want to continue to deepen my spiritual gifts this year and really just hone in my intuition, because I'm someone, I feel things, I know things. My sixth sense is often leading me in powerful directions and good directions. So I just hope that this resonates with you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to slide in my DMs, to find me on TikTok or Instagram, whatever you want to do. And just know that no matter what you're going through right now, that you are enough and you are worthy of love. You are worthy of connection. You are worthy of creating the life that you so desire. And I believe in you. You just have to keep showing up for yourself. I had a Mindset Monday about that recently, so go listen to that. But thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys showing up for this podcast each and every week. And do not forget to stay empowered. I will talk to you guys soon and see you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for taking the time to be a part of our Get Empowered community. Don't forget to check the show notes for the resources I shared in today's episode, and of course, to connect with me on social. You can find all of our offers and community links at empoweredwitherika.com. I always love hearing from you, so don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and tag me with your biggest takeaways from today's episode. Let me know what you loved and what you want to hear more about, and share it with someone who you think would love it too. I cannot wait to share more with you. I'll see you next week, and don't forget to stay empowered.